We welcome you to ESPN's continuing coverage of the Motel 6 Roll to Riches. We're coming your way from Colonial Lanes in Orlando, Florida. $150,000 is on the line. Our original field of 6 has been trimmed to 4, but only one will walk away with the $150,000 winner's check. Today's format shapes up like this. The 2 winners from our opening round square off with the 2 survivors from the elimination round. And the semis are a 6-frame showdown, maximum score of 180. The final is a race to 6 strikes. Spares are of no concern to us. Here's a look at your brackets. Doug Kent will take on the lefty, Bohn III. Semifinal number 2 has Chris Barnes dueling Norm Duke. Rob Stone joined by 13-time titleist Randy Peterson with you here, and just 4 left here. Some big names rolling for some big money, and as loose as this competition was in the earlier stages, once that money starts talking, the guys start getting a little bit tighter.
Yeah, it's starting to get a little more serious now. And, you know, the first matchup with Doug Kent and Bohn, these 2 are brothers-in-law, and I guarantee you there's not going to be a lot of words being spoken in that match. And I guarantee you in the other semifinal, Norm Duke against Chris Barnes, no pleasantries exchanged in that matchup either.
And it was Norm Duke winning 2 majors, which technically allowed Chris Barnes to compete here in the Motel 6 Roll to Riches. As we take a look at our championship recap, brought to you by Geico, Bohn III and Norm Duke essentially earned a free pass to our semifinal rounds with strikes there when they needed it. So match number 1, Doug Kent, 114 to 112 over Michael Haugen Jr. Kent, 0 strikes till the 5th when he slammed home 4 straight for the win. The second matchup, Rash versus Chris Barnes. They had the 2 highest scores of our 6-frame matches, but it was Barnes scoring a 4-strike clean game to move on. And here's Randy with our first 2 semifinalists.
And let's start the family feud. The 2 brothers-in-law are going to go at it in semifinal number 1. Parker, let's start with you. Is it an advantage being the only southpaw on the telecast?
Well, it could be an advantage if I can get lined up early, but I'm not going to take Doug lightly. I know he knows how to strike, and I got to get out on the board first.
All right, Parker, thanks. Good luck. Doug, I know that you guys room together occasionally on tour. You've bowled against Parker on television. Who gets the better of who?
Well, I think right now we got to be pretty close to 50-50. I've gotten him for a couple titles, and he's got me for a couple titles, so this might be the tiebreaker. I don't know.
All right, Doug, good luck. Thank you.
Doug Kent, 9 tour titles on his resume. Bohn III, 31, 5th most in PBA history. And of those 31 titles, 1 of them a major. And Bohn will start us off first here in this 6-frame match. The 6th frame essentially treated like the 10th frame in a normal bowling competition. Hello, lefty with an opening strike.
Classic form of 44-year-old Bohn III, and I've seen him do that quite a bit over the last 20-plus years, sir.
We saw him do it once this season as well, winning in Spartanburg, South Carolina, the final event of the 2007 calendar year. Here's Doug Kent. Just nicked the head pin, but clearly not nearly enough in that pocket.
And in his match against Michael Haugen Jr.,
Well,
Doug,
that's a good start.
Struggled, came back with a late 4-bagger to win that match by 2 pins.
114 to 112 was the scoreline of Kent versus Haugen Jr. in our first elimination round matchup.
Remember, only 6 frames.
Get it! Game effort.
He was robbed, period. Just plain robbed.
Take a look at our Motel 6 matchup. And Doug Kent making just 1 TV appearance this season. This coming off of his Player of the Year season before that. That 1 lone appearance came at the U.S. Open just a few weeks ago in New Jersey.
Said he felt solid all year, just nothing really went his way. make no mistake about it, this man is a very talented player.
And he is the defending champ here at the Motel 6. Roll to riches. Because of strikes like that, we asked him, being the defending champ, does it help? No. You know, look at the field. Come on. It means nothing with the talent that's out here today. So open frame strike for Kent. Here's Parker Bohn III. Won the online fan vote to earn one of the 6 spots here at the Motel 6 Roll to Riches. Has a good cheering section here with him today as well. Just missing the 7.
Boy, he really wanted that one too, and he knows how important it is to jump out to an early lead when there's only 6 frames instead of 10. Watch this, right around that first arrow out to about the 3rd board. And watch this reaction.
Now clap.
This is first Motel 6 Roll to Riches appearance. Strike spare for the lefty from Jackson, New Jersey. And there's Doug Kent from Newark, New York, just outside of Rochester. Bohn steps up to open up the 3rd. That left lane has been good to Parker so far. Both attempts have been strikes. This the 2nd ever 6-frame match for Parker Bohn III. You have got to hear where his first was. We'll tell you the chilly details when we return to Orlando. Back with you in Colonial Lanes, and both bowlers with some family support. They're also sharing a condominium near Disney as the Kent clan and the Bohn clan bringing the whole clans together. See Mickey and company.
A lot of bodies. Like 8 of them staying in that timeshare, that condo.
I have 5 in my hotel room, and I know that's enough. Man, I am anticipating 0 sleep tonight.
Wow. That wouldn't be anything different for you, would it?
Exactly. Doug Kent down 11. He opens up his attempt here in the 3rd. You know, one of the things about these 6-frame matches is that you do not have a lot of time to give away a game and to make up some ground. Kent picks up the spare as we visit with Lumber Liquidators, and time to know the wood, and it's the cheetah oil pattern chosen by the fans, 35 feet in length, the shortest of the 5 patterns.
Yeah, and also the highest scoring because of the dry boards to the outside part of the lane. I've heard a lot of the players call it adult bumper bowling.
Ooh, I like that. Kent opens up the 4th. Off a spare. Timely strike for Doug Kent.
Well, depending on what Parker does now, Parker working on a strike in the 3rd frame. Doug Kent says, you know what? I need to do a lot more of this in the 5th and 6th frame.
Twice, Parker Bohn has finished 3rd on this oil pattern this season. It was only used at 3 events. Gets them all!
Well, his brother-in-law's not going to like that. Parker Bohn III does. Let me show you the game that has withstood the test of time in our Etonic Edge. Parker Bohn III, not only is he a role model off the lanes, but this would be a pretty good style to emulate if you ever took up bowling. Great balance, perfect knee bend, great arm swing, one of the most accurate players out on tour, and one of the best the game has ever known.
The lead is at 21. Come on! Yeah! Take it, Parker! Take it, son! It's a strike in the book. And it's a strike that gets you that much closer to 150,000.
Well, he's had enough bad happen to him throughout his career, and as of late, but I'll tell you what, this is probably the biggest break he's gotten in the last 5 years.
Took 2 knocks to drop it down. Big hole now for Kent. Not as fortunate.
Doug in big trouble now. That right lane is an issue for him. He has 1 open and no strikes on it. Right now his max score is 119. And it's kind of the same situation as his other match against Michael Haugen Jr. He strikes out here. He will force Parker Bohn III to throw the first strike to win.
This left lane, though, has been all strikes for Kent here in this semifinal number 1. And that comes to an end.
Yeah, and pretty much so does this match. Doug leaving himself double wood here, and that shot just looked a little flat. And that's a tendency after you leave a couple of 4 pins. You don't want the ball to drift high again subconsciously. You just kind of miss it a little bit at the bottom of the swing.
His 3rd spare of this 6-frame semifinal. Parker Bohn III clearly in control of this first semifinal.
All right, shoot. Hi, man. Why do they call you lucky?
Parker just needs to keep it on the lane and stay behind the foul line.
Winner, winner. Four strikes in a row.
That was one of the most interesting ham bones I've had in a long time.
Enough said. he just stole your thunder. Stole your thunder right out from underneath you.
He stole nothing. I'm stunned that that's part of his normal bowling vocabulary now.
Not how, it's how many.
Drop that nickel. Well, this is the second ever 6-frame game Parker Bohn has ever rolled. The first came a few weeks back in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. He did it on ice. Inside, he bowled a 77 on an ice rink as part of a giant fundraiser. Bales of hay, pin boys on every lane, bumpers out there. No hook on the ice.
Ice bowling?
Ice bowling.
Say it isn't so.
Inside.
What am I supposed to
I am
say
finding me a way to Sheboygan, Wisconsin.
Wrong end of the pencil?
Because that sounds like fun. Parker Bohn, a commanding 160 to 106 win. Parker Bohn, one win away from $150,000. That'll make his kids happy. Who will he face in the race to stick 6 strikes? It'll be either Norm Duke or Chris Barnes. Barnes, your player of the year. Norm Duke comes in on a mighty roll, having just won the U.S. Open. Those two square off in the semis when we return. We welcome you back to our continuing coverage of the Motel 6 Roll to Riches. This event does not count toward the official PBA titles and earnings list, but every bank will be able to cash that $150,000 winner's check. Back with you in Orlando as we take a look at our updated brackets, and one finalist has been set. Our lone lefty, Parker Bohn III, has just dispatched of brother-in-law Doug Kent. Up now, semifinal number 2. Chris Barnes, this year's Player of the Year versus Norm Duke, who came in 3rd in the Player of the Year race. And Randy Peterson is standing by with those two. Randy?
Thanks, Rod. Well, young man, it's been quite the last 6 weeks or so for you. You said yourself, Randy, I've been riding the emotional wave since winning the U.S. Open. Norm, how are you able to bring that momentum into this event?
Well, it's tough, but, you know, I look at the faces of the guys that are knocked out already, and that's enough for me. You know, this all or nothing thing, nothing is no good. I figured that out already.
Thanks, Norm. Good luck. Now, Chris, I think you've been in this position once or twice. It's kind of old hat for you. You're one win away from bowling for your third Motel 6 Roll to Riches title. What's the strategy this time?
Well, I'm bowling the hottest guy on tour right now. I mean, he's coming off some big wins. His swing won't get any freer than it is right now. And the key is figuring out that left lane. Guys are thinking of struggling in that left lane, and it looks like Norm's got it figured out pretty good. So I got my hands full.
Thanks, Chris. Good luck.
We take a look at our matchup here, semifinal number 2, Chris Barnes versus Norm Duke. Barnes, we asked him about the experience in this event. Says it doesn't really factor in all that much. If there is an advantage, it's knowing that you have done it before. Your swing is just a little bit freer. So Barnes looking for his third career Motel 6 Roll to Riches title. He has to get by Norm Duke first and then Parker Bohn III. Barnes living now in Double Oak, Texas. Wife and twins here watching him. Oh. 10-pin party in the pit to start off that one.
You heard Chris say in his interview that there's Chris Barnes' family. The left lane was the tricky lane. Chris gets to finish the match on the right lane.
And he gets a high five from one of his sons. Norm Duke, Claremont, Florida. About how far away from this venue?
35 minutes.
You would know that because?
Live in Claremont. Remember, only 6 frames, and this is a winner-take-all event. There is nothing for second. $150,000 to the winner of the Motel 6 Roll to Riches. Norm Duke finished second in this event to Doug Kent last year, looking to get back into that title match.
Duke, the 94 PBA Player of the Year, after winning a career-high 5 titles, was third in the rankings this year, second last season. There's his son, 12-year-old Brandon, in the crowd, as is his wife, Karen.
And I love the way Norm describes Brandon. Much better looking than I am. This is what he's told us last night.
We begin the second. Duke off a spare.
Man, both of those 2 shots there, just a little bit light into the pocket, leaving what we call the weak 10. He's taking his bevel knife out now. He's going to adjust tape. You see that there's cork on top of tape. Norm likes to move that around a bit to give himself just the perfect feel. He's got very sharp finger and thumb holes. So it's vital for Norm to get the perfect feel.
And he loves to tweak.
He loves to tweak. But because of those sharp finger and thumb holes, there's no grab in this release.
He was worried about a lane violation there as you saw him pull up on his momentum as he goes back-to-back spares. We take a look at our Motel 6 matchup between these two. They have combined for 38 career tour titles.
You look at the money that Norm Duke made, $176,000. He made $150 of that in the last 5 weeks. The reigning Player of the Year looks rock solid and dialed in right now. Playing the lanes completely different. The right lane, he's much further right, going much straighter.
Well, he said rock solid. He may be rock chalk Jayhawk solid, a hardcore Kansas basketball fan feeling the momentum of their NCAA title recently. He is dialed in. Opens up with the 3-bagger.
Now, I want you to watch the ball reaction. This is not done by the bowling ball. This is done with release, with skill. You notice how that ball started to hook and then it stopped from going high? Chris Barnes does that with talent.
So Barnes opens up an early 21-pin lead. Barnes, the reigning Player of the Year, in the driver's seat. 3 frames, 3 strikes. We welcome you back to Colonial Lanes in Orlando. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson with you in our continuing coverage of the Motel 6 Roll to Riches. And those two lucky fans upgraded to the Aaron's dream seats, but it has been a dream start for Chris Barnes thus far. 3 frames, 3 strikes, and there's Brandon Duke watching on, and Brandon, a big motivating force for Norm today. This is the first time that Brandon has ever seen his dad bowl live in a professional event. Dancing with the gutter devil.
Good. Not exactly what Norm was thinking would happen on this shot here. I mean, just the whiffs of the head pin on the cheetah pattern is not something you see a whole lot of. Right now, Norm is a little confused and in big trouble.
But on that cheetah pattern, it's not unusual through the course of a long tournament to see a few gutter balls.
Because of the angle the players create through the front part of the lane, throwing it to the right, or if you're left-handed, throwing it to the left. If you get it going in that direction too quick, it goes in.
Rack on 7, please.
After 3 frames, the lead is at 24 for Barnes, and there's the numbers of our opening 6 competitors for the Motel 6 Roll to Riches here on the cheetah pattern.
Yeah, I mean, look at this right here. I mean, Norm averaging 184 this season on the cheetah pattern.
We had to double check that number.
Hard to believe, but true.
3 strikes for Barnes, 3 spares for Duke. We're halfway through this second semifinal. Frame 4. There we go, Norm.
Back in the ball game now. Now it's just up to Chris Barnes to see if he'll give Norm a little light at the end of the tunnel. But when you throw him right there, normally all 10 go back, and it's exactly what Norm was looking for.
Now here's Chris Barnes in the driver's seat, and we've seen him in that position a ton of times this season. But in the beginning, Randy, he was having problems putting away his opponents when it really mattered.
Yeah, Rob, you're right. He had trouble closing the deal.
Curb plunk.
Saw it at the Tournament of Champions against Michael Haugen Jr. when, you know, he really had that tournament wrapped up and let Michael Haugen back in, gave him the opportunity, and Michael Haugen took advantage of it. Chris just needs to not get ahead of himself mentally.
We remind you to head over to PBA.com, where you can join the more than 12,000 people who have already joined bowling's digital destination. It's Bowl Space. While you're there, you can share stories, videos, and pictures with bowling fans from around the world. It's easy to join. Simply click on the Bowl Space link at PBA.com. The lead at 23 for Barnes. We begin our version of the foundation frame, the 5th.
Big shot there. Hasn't missed the pocket in 5 frames. Remember, only 6 frames, not 10. Watch the 6 pin, second from the right. Ring and 10 goes up and around the 10 pin. Spare here, he'll maintain a 22 pin lead.
Takes care of it. Now it's Norm Duke's turn, and Norm needs strikes. Wonderful conversation we had with Norm today. We asked him to describe the season. Said, you know, I'm going to remember this one well because of all the pain involved in it. Left calf injuries, some illnesses, fighting to remain exempt. And then bouncing back with strikes and winning 2 majors. And he said, you know, I didn't think bowling could give me that high anymore. And this season showed me that it still can put a smile on my face and give me that energy boost.
Well, he made a ball change there. He says, I've got nothing to lose now. I know I have to strike out to have any chance in this match. Norm can strike out in the 6th frame, shoot 146. Chris Barnes can go 3 in the 10th, or excuse me, 3 in the 6th for 148. Hey, we're Duke. Hey, Mr. Big Shot. That's 10 back, and watch this reaction. You think Norm wants to bowl for $150,000? You betcha.
Again, Duke with huge fan following pretty much everywhere we go, but particularly here in Orlando, spurned on by one of his buddies here, his golfing buddy, Chris Walker, handing out Duke signs. You see one over his shoulder right now.
And that's huge as Brandon looks on clapping for his dad, because that forces Chris Barnes to double in the 10th frame, in the 6th frame.
6th frame acting as the 10th frame here in this 10 frame Motel 6 roll to riches shootout. Norm asking for calm from the crowd. 4 strikes in a row, looking to make it 5 for a 146 to put a whole kind of lot of pressure on Chris Barnes. When he is on, he's on!
What a finish by one of the greatest that's ever thrown a bowling ball right there. Your reigning United States Open champion.
We talked about Chris Barnes having some issues handling the pressure of big-time moments at the bowling center. He's fought it all season long, overcame it finally in El Paso, won again in Columbus, won the Player of the Year honors, but this is epic. Here in the right frame where he last threw a strike, or the right lane, I should say. Right frame, he threw a spare.
Well, I got to tell you, this looks like a bad shot right off his hand. This ball has nothing on it on a really dry lane surface. That ball never grips the lane. It goes wide and leaves it 210. Norm Duke advances to take on Parker Bohn III.
.146, 124. Duke moves on, and he started off relatively slow. A 9 spare, and then a third, a 7 spare. And then he rattled off 5 straight strikes, and the winning ways continue for Norm Duke. And
I got really
what a Motel 6 title matchup we have for you. Our lone southpaw, Parker Bohn III, who took care of Doug Kent, 160 to 106. 160, our high score so far. He'll face Norm Duke, who won 2 majors this season. Bohn, Duke, the final, the first to 6 strikes when we return. And we are set for our title match of the Motel 6 Roll to Riches. Will the Duke be rolling out with the Lukes? We'll find out. Norm Duke set to take on Parker Bohn III. Parker Bohn in our first semifinal, and the messenger delivered time and time again and on time. Shot a 160 out of a potential 180, a 7-pin standing in the second. Prevented him from a perfect game. He has 78 career 300 games, #1 all time. So Parker Bohn moves on 160 to 106. We'll take on Norm Duke. Now Duke started off innocently enough with 3 straight spares and then exploded, striking in the 4th, in the 5th, and then blowing up in the 6th. 5 in a row, dropped the nickel on Chris Barnes, winning it 146 to 124. 2 legends of the game set to roll for $150,000. First player to roll 6 strikes will take home the check. And Randy standing by with our finalists as we take a look at our strike percentage, and those two fairly close. Parker Bohn III, Norm Duke. All they need right now, Randy, are strikes.
Thanks, Rob. Parker, well, you got some great breaks in that match against brother-in-law Doug Kent. Did you kind of get the feeling that maybe the bowling gods are starting to look down on you?
I think they were looking down on me, but Doug knows I got great breaks. I know I got great breaks, but right now it's momentum forward. We got to turn it up a notch, and make it all happen right now. 6 in a row first.
Good luck, Parker. Norman, that was quite a performance, reminiscent of what you did at the U.S. Open just a couple of weeks ago. What was going through your mind when you got up in the 5th and 6th frame, knowing you needed to put strikes on the board to put pressure on Chris Barnes.
Well, I was trying to add the score. There's only 6 boxes up there, and I was thinking, is it 220? And it just confused me. So I said, Norm, you need them all. Just trust me, you need them all.
Norm, good luck.
Thank you.
Well, math not really needed here in the race to 6 strikes. We don't even bother with the spare ball here as Norm Duke set to take on Parker Bohn III. Winner take all, $150,000 prize awaiting one of these two. First to 6, Norm Duke will bat lead off, and he has some experience here. Was the runner-up last year. He's telling us today, it's really kind of laid back when this competition first begins. But about halfway through, it starts getting mean. By the end, you got the hope button pushed every single ball. Hope that's a strike. Hope that's a strike. Here's Duke to start us off. Strike 1.
Hey, Rob, did you tell everybody it's the first one to 6 strikes wins all the loot?
I think we've mentioned that a few times, but it bears repeating.
Well, here's a pretty good start for Norm. Look at this, Wally. Parker Bohn knows that he has to now strike to stay even.
Again, Bohn, the only lefty of our 6 competitors here at the Motel 6 Roller Riches, so he's had the left side of these 2 lanes all to himself all day long.
Boy, he's been rock solid all day long.
I'll see your strike with the strike.
Hey, did you tell everybody that it's a $150,000 winner take all?
I believe that was covered, but again, thank you for having my back, partner.
I'm just checking. Just checking.
Some good Norm Duke product placement signs. Back-to-back jacks for the Duke.
And I like the #1 position, the leadoff position, because you put pressure on your opponent. I think it's the right choice that Norm made going first. Let's see how Parker Bohn III handles the pressure.
Bohn, number 3 on the all-time PBA money leader list, approaching $22,700,000. See, these are numbers I don't even know how to. I'm not used to seeing that many commas and numbers associated with things that I had to talk about. But that doesn't mean he won't be taking this $150,000 paycheck. And Norm has seen more than his share of money as well, over $2.6 million. No messenger on that one.
A little fast on that shot. Remember, in this match, there's no spares being shot. It's strikes only. Check your spare ball at the door. Again, this ball just never got up. Norm looks like he just got a little over-pumped up there and overthrew it. This guy here looks like he's flatlining right now. It's like his heart rate is down, and he's pretty comfortable. Looks pretty comfortable.
Always been a very cool cat. Advantage, Bohn.
Halfway there, Parker Bohn III, halfway to $150,000.
A lot of rolling left. By no means is this one done. But Bohn will sit through this commercial break knowing he has a 3 strikes to 2 lead and needs only 3 more. And he and his family will be taking home a $150,000 check. The conclusion of Bohn and Duke when we return. Back in Orlando, Florida for the conclusion of the Motel 6 Roll to Riches. We are in our title match. First to 6 strikes will take home the check. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson with you till the conclusion, and our thanks to Cliff Couch, the general manager here at Colonial Lanes, the host venue here. And Orlando won the online voting contest to host the Motel 6 Roll to Riches. There's his son, Jason. Stu done a wonderful job hosting this event. Now Norm Duke, who started off this competition with 2 straight strikes, then missed in his 3rd attempt. Parker Bohn III has been flawless thus far in the race to 6 strikes. This to tie things up. Ouch.
Well, now it could start to get a little difficult for Norm Duke. Watch this good shot here. 6-pin goes around the 10, ring and 10. Parker Bohn strikes on this ball. He'll have 4 in a row, and Duke will be behind the 8 ball.
You made a great line a little bit earlier about Parker Bohn, saying he just looks like he's flatlining right now. Very little emotion. You don't see any worry creases in his forehead. It's just step up and keep throwing the strikes. Looking for 4 in a row. Denied.
Life for Duke on a good shot thrown by Parker Bohn III that does not strike.
Looks like 2 pins might have collided, blocking that strike.
Good shot here. It's just going to be a little light. And you're right, Rob. 2 of them ran into each other. Otherwise, that 10-pin goes down.
Duke now looking for his 3rd to tie it up. We're tied at 3s.
But remember, Norm Duke went first. If Parker strikes here, he will have the lead. Norm feathered this one in there nicely. You see the ball kind of rolling out and stopping. That's created by release and friction on the lane.
There will be a first-time champion here today at the Motel 6 Roll to Riches. Kent and Barnes both eliminated earlier on in our competition, both losing in the semifinals. Yes! Advantage back to Bohn.
Absolutely. There's your leader right there. Remember, first 1 to 6 takes $150,000. Winner take all. Nothing for second.
So we talked at the outset how important it is to advance out of the opening round. Both Bohn and Duke did that, earning buys to the semis, and here they are in the final.
Boy, the shot before that on that left lane, he leaves a ring and 10. This one's just a touch softer. He goes 4-pin. And Norm says, all right, that's the way you're going to play. This looks pretty good right here. I like it. He likes it. And then he just wiggles just a little bit more. And that left lane's been a problem for the righties all day.
5 attempts, 4 strikes so far for Bohn. He's 2 away from $150,000.
Man, what a shot Parker Bohn threw there when he knew he could be 1 strike away from winning the whole thing. You don't think he likes this one? Watch this reaction. Like someone just cut his legs out from underneath him.
Yeah, when you walk sideways, that's a good walk. When you freeze, knee bend, or walk backwards, that's when it's panic.
Yeah, that's called running it out, buddy. When you start running the shot out.
Been okay.
Norm's asking if the pin that's sticking out there on the left gutter, if it's okay, if that pin is in play. I believe it's in play. It's going to have to be moved.
And
right there, that one that's getting moved right there.
And Norm is a master of time management.
Oh, without question.
At the bowling lane. I mean, he's like the Dean Smith 4 corners over there. He'll work that clock to his advantage at all times. Trailing 3-4. We begin our 7th effort. Looks good. Yeah!
Yeah, that was Pierre there. Trying to get back into it. Watch this bowling ball split that 8-9.5 right there.
Tied at 4s, but again, Norm Duke went first. So Bohn can reclaim the lead with a strike here in their 7th shot. Back the lead goes to Bohn. He's one away.
One strike away from $150,000 and his first Motel 6 Roll to Riches title. And you can't throw it any better than that. Norm knows that he must apply pressure, keep it on Parker Bohn III, stay in this match. This is must-strike territory.
The Duke delivers. A gutty ball that was. Both at 5, first to 6. Bohn will have first crack at getting to 6.
Well, Chris Barnes gave Norm Duke life in their semifinal match. Let's see if Parker Bohn is going to give Duke an extra shot. One strike, he's a winner.
Parker and his wife Leslie embracing. He's there with his parents, Gene and Parker. He also has niece and nephew and 3 of his kids in attendance, and Norm enjoys that moment even if it's in defeat.
Baby. Vice Grip, thank you very much.
Awesome job. Awesome play.
Parker had his arms up in the air when this ball was halfway down the lane.
Orlando!
Great job, buddy. Great job.
Testing the durability of our signage as well.
That kid's agile.
It took him 8 attempts to toss 6 strikes. And his kids have no clue what Daddy just did. Daddy just earned a big old paycheck. We'll hear from him when we return. Parker Bohn III joins Doug Kent and Chris Barnes as the only 3 winners of the Motel 6 Roll to Riches. Colonial Lanes here in Orlando, the host venue. And here is how Parker Bohn did it, courtesy of the CLR Clean Sweep. Taking on Norm Duke, his first attempt went strike. Second attempt, ditto. Third, you know the routine by now. Missed in the 4th. In the 5th, with it tied up 3 apiece. Bohn retook the lead. Moved to the 7th. After Duke had made 4, Bohn made it 5. And this for the win in the 8th attempt, his 6th and final strike. And the celebration with wife Leslie. And we go downstairs, Randy, with the interview and the check presentation.
Parker, congratulations, and here to present the $150,000 to Parker Bohn III, PBA Tour Director Kurt Von Kruger. Kurt?
Thanks, Randy. Parker, what a great performance. On behalf of Motel 6 and the Professional Bowlers Association, it's my pleasure to present you this check for $150,000. Congratulations.
Thank you, Kirk. Boy, I'll tell you what an unbelievable day. Would have never dreamed that this day could come true, and I'll tell you, thank God I'm standing here right now. This check's going to pay for a lot of college funds. I got a couple on the way.
Parker, take us through when you got to 5 strikes. You knew you only needed 1 more. You got up in the 10th, or you got up in that frame, and you just absolutely proved it. Your arms were up in the air when the ball was halfway down the lane. What went through your mind?
Well, you dream of getting up in the 10th frame, or now the 6th frame, and throwing the great shot that you want to, and knocking them all over to win a big title or a lot of money. And I've dreamt that dream many, many times, and, well, reality set in, and I was able to come through right then and there.
Let's bring the family in.
Thanks, Randy.
Come on, guys. Come on. Buddy, are you going to go to Disney World tomorrow? Yeah? You going to have a good time? Leslie, what are you going to spend all the money on?
Mickey.
All right, there you go. Hey, guys, congratulations. Enjoy.
Parker Bohn and family are going to have a great time at Disney, courtesy of this big win. 31 tour titles for Parker Bohn III, 1 major, and now 1 Motel 6 Roll to Riches title. Bohn took care of Doug Kent in the semis and then knocked off Norm Duke 6-5 in the race to 6 strikes. For Randy Peterson and our entire crew, I'm Rob Stone. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Parker Bohn III, a huge win. More PBA action coming your way next with the Skills Challenge. Parker and company, enjoy the cash.